Hello everybody and welcome to this lesson on expressive skills. So within this unit we will define all 8 expressive skills, and alongside learning about expressive skills we're going to look at the history and development of American modern dance and how that transformed today into contemporary. We will also understand how each expressive skill can be used in a movement and how each expressive skill can be improved. We will also learn why each expressive skill is important for a dancer. We will answer some practice exam questions on the way, and we will practically experience each of these expressive skills. So let's just look at what we've previously done, what we're doing now, and what we'll be learning in the future. So we've already looked at physical skills, technical skills, which is excellent. So we're now moving on to expressive skills, and today's lesson we're just going to be doing focus and projection. In the future we'll be moving on to the other expressive skills. Now, how will this link to my wider learning? So we will gain understanding of performance skills, gain understanding of contemporary dance, and understand some of the stylistic features of contemporary. This is going to broaden our learning because it's going to link to history. We're going to be looking at the history and origins of American dance. Okay, so today, learning objective number 1 is to understand, define and demonstrate the expressive skills of focus and projection. And learning objective number 2 is to gain knowledge into the development of American modern dance. So let's get started. 30-second challenge. Do you know the expressive skills? We built in the expressive skills into the Key Stage 3 curriculum, so you would have heard some of these terms before, but pause the video and have a think. There are 8 expressive skills, so try and recall them please now. Okay, here are the expressive skills. So we have number 1, projection, number 2, focus, facial expressions, communication of choreographic intent, phrasing, musicality and sensitivity to other dances, and spatial awareness. Okay, now let's introduce ourselves to American modern dance. Okay, so let's have a quick look at some more information about American modern dance. So at the beginning of the 20th century, America did not have a tradition of professional ballet, and therefore innovators appeared who would contribute to the development of modern dance. So this move away from traditional ballets that were mostly famous in Europe, having traditional stories, and innovators, and we're going to look at some different innovators along the way, are going to contribute to this development of American modern dance. So further how this developed is that it's the point of showing individualism, and it has that contrast to ballet where stressed, angular asymmetries combined with aggressive and earthy qualities. So moving away from these rules and regulations of ballet and moving more into freedom, experimentation. So in the early development of modern dance, the importance of music and art was minimised, and during the 1930s a new generation of dancers began to concern themselves with psychological and social issues in their choreographies. So new ideas came through in their choreographies, and it wasn't about just portraying a love story. Social issues came to the forefront, important issues. So now we are going to pause the video and we're going to watch a short clip from a documentary. The link is going to be in the description of this current YouTube video. It's only roughly about 2 minutes long, so have a watch of that. Pause this video and then come back to this video when you've watched that, please. Okay, so now you've had a watch of that short documentary, so hopefully that gave you further insight and detail about American modern dance. But please feel free to do your own research on this, go onto YouTube and have further exploration. So moving on now to defining expressive skills, the term itself. And this was an exam question that came up a couple of years ago. And the simple answer, the AQA glossary definition, is aspects that contribute to performance artistry and that engage the audience. And they've listed 2 examples of expressive skills there. So they've put such as focus and musicality. So now pause the video, please, and make sure you write this down in your books. Okay, so understanding the exam, we need to know why we're learning these expressive skills and how we might be asked about them. So we might be asked to define it, we might be asked to describe a movement example with that expressive skill in, we might be asked how we will improve that expressive skill, and we also might be asked why this expressive skill is important to a dancer. Okay, so we're working from this table. Your teacher would have sent you the Word document for this. However, just feel free to quickly sketch and draw this out on a piece of paper or in your book. That's absolutely fine. So just to be clear, the definition for each skill goes under the name of the skill. So to the very first left-hand column is where you'll write the definitions, and then we'll write the importance in the middle and then how to improve on the right. So pause the video now if you need to draw this table out. Okay guys, let's get started with our first expressive skill. So the first one we're looking at is focus, and we define that by saying the use of the eyes to enhance performance or interpretive qualities. Now this can be done by opening the eyes, looking out to the audience, or looking at a body part. So let's get on to popping this into the table. So in the first part, you need to write the definition. So we've just discussed that. It's the use of the eyes to enhance the performance or interpretive qualities. And the key thing about focus is the eyes. Yeah, to put simply, is where you are looking. Focus in dance as an expressive skill is where the eyes are focusing on. And I've just added a little description. You do not have to write this down. There's not a place for it in the table. But just for example, I performed a leap with my head turned sharply, looking out to the audience. We can all envision that, we can imagine that. So someone doing a giant leap across the stage and they've turned their head sharply and their eyes are looking to the audience. So that is a clear example of where the expressive skill focus is used in a movement. Okay, moving on to how we improve focus. So we could use the mirrors to check obviously where your eyes are, if you're using your focus at all, or if you're actually just looking down the whole time. So using the mirrors would help you improve where your focus is. You could always film yourself and watch it back. Are you looking at the floor? Are you looking at the side? Are you looking where you're meant to be looking? You could ask for peer feedback. You could ask the teacher for feedback. And then when you're choreographing the dance or if you're rehearsing, you could make sure that you set where your eyes are for every single movement so that you are clear as a dancer where your eye line is meant to be. Okay, the importance of using your eyes and using the expressive skill focus is to engage the audience. It will of course add interest, it will add character, and it will add dramatic effect. So pause the video now to write down all of this information in the table. Okay, on to our next expressive skill, which is projection. So we can define this by saying the energy the dancer uses to connect with and draw in the audience. Yeah, so the key word there is energy. Projection is about what energy you're sending out to the audience. And little tips down the side of how you could do this as a dancer. So opening your eyes, obviously using your focus, looking out to the audience, chin up and energy to the audience. And that's how you're going to show your projection. So let's write this in the table. So the first definition we've just mentioned, which is the energy the dancer uses to connect with and draw in the audience. My little description that we're going to imagine is kicking your leg to the front whilst lifting the chest and the chin and sending energy to the audience. So just one movement I've described there, but we can clearly see how that is going to show projection. How we're going to improve projection, again, these are quite similar to focus, which sometimes is why people get them slightly confused. But all of these improve it methods are going to link to projection as well. So of course, if you're using the mirrors, you're going to be able to see whether you are projecting. Film yourself back and watch it is always a great one, so you can see if you are sending energy out. Ask for a friend to give you peer feedback, ask for teacher feedback. And then, like focus, you would want to set where your eyes are or set where the energy is going for each movement. Importance. So it ensures that you connect with the audience because you have to send that energy out to them. Adds energy to the performance, adds moments of highlights. So our choreographic device there, some moments of interest, and adds excitement to the piece. So please pause this now and make sure you've filled in the table. Okay, moving on. Question to think about. How does focus and projection contribute to a dancer's final performance? Now, contribute means kind of add, enhance. What does it give to that dancer's final performance? So we might think of things like it adds character. If you're using your eyes, if you're sending energy out to the audience, it's obviously going to add some character to your performance. It's going to add a connection with the audience. It's going to add excitement, and it's going to promote storytelling. So take a second to write that question down, and you can bullet point my 4 underneath, and then you can add your own once you've paused the video. Okay, now onto our practical task. So you are going to create a contemporary solo that includes the 2 expressive skills we've studied today, which is focus and projection. Now, top tips for this is to make sure that each movement you're choreographing, that you're asking yourself the question, where is my focus? Am I projecting? And that will help you make sure that you've choreographed in the focus and projection. So take the rest of this lesson now to complete this practical task, please. Okay, and further study would be to watch this incredible documentary to find out more about the development of American modern dance and modern dance in the UK. I will put this link in the comments of this video as well for you. Thank you, everybody, and well done.